Welcome back into the Ohio State Football Report. Tom Downey here. On today's show, I want to update where things sit with the Buckeyes 2026 recruiting class, but also where they sit with some of the top targets, including several 5-stars who will commit in the next month. First up, Buckeyes have 2 5-stars, Chris Henry Jr., Blain Bradford. We'll see if anything changes on that. I could see some adjustments coming on. Maybe someone else jumps into that 5-star range. Cincere Johnson, Sam Greer, Simeon Caldwell, and again, we're going to do the listed positions. Some of these guys might end up being, they're going to move to linebacker, or they're going to play corner, or they're going to move around a little bit. Just make note. Caden Dixon-Wyatt, Maxwell Riley, Kahari Wilder, the only edge commit in this 21-man class for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Jordan Thomas, Favor Aki, who is, I think, a potential linchpin at the running back spot. Damari Simeon, defensive lineman. Other receivers, Jaden Ricketts, Jerquaden Guilford, who has jumped up to a 4-star, by the way. CJ Santa, Brock Boyd, who I think actually dropped down to a 3-star, which was kind of funny how that one turned out. Aaron Thomas, Cameron Brickle, the only quarterback recruit in the cycle, Luke Fahey, who they beat out Stanford and Indiana for, Corbin Fordham, and Tucker Smith. Oh, and of course, the Florida flip, Jameer Perez, high school teammates with Cincere Johnson. So that puts the Buckeyes at number 7 in the 24/7 sports recruiting rankings. Only 3 schools in the top 7 have less than 25 commits. It's just Alabama, Texas, and Ohio State, all 21, which are kind of the better, higher quality. There's some volume there with Georgia, massive volume with USC. A&M, Notre Dame put together a pretty strong cycle, which is impressive. LSU, the team up north, Miami, rounding out that top 10. So noteworthy that it's a bunch of SEC schools, USC, Notre Dame, Ohio State. I almost said Pac-12 for USC, which, of course, is no longer the case. But Ohio State, 7 feels like the floor of what every recruiting cycle should have for the Buckeyes. So we'll break down some outstanding top targets, but grade the Buckeyes class so far. A, B, C, D, or F. I most worry about the edge spot. You might have to hit the portal pretty hard there. But grade the class. A, B, C, D, or F. The pinned comment on today's show. Let's go to Darius Gray, the first of our updates on the top targets. He's going to commit on August 22nd. The Buckeyes are in his top 5. In no particular order, LSU, Ohio State, South Carolina, and Tennessee. It does sound like some of the SEC schools are pushing pretty hard. LSU, South Carolina, Tennessee. I don't think this is set in stone. I think to an extent, all 5 teams think they have a shot, even though I wouldn't peg the Buckeyes as a top 2 school right now for Gray. Here's what he said, though, on the Buckeyes. Ohio State is great. They won a national championship the previous year. I think what also stands out is my relationship with Coach Bowen. It's grown over time. He's a player's coach, and no doubt in my mind he's able to develop offensive linemen like he did at Penn State. Look, Darius Gray is from Virginia. He is the number 2 ranked player in the state. He is the number 2 ranked player among all interior offensive linemen. He most recently came over from Virginia Tech, which I think is why there's a big factor there with the relationship with Gray. He's from Virginia. Gray plays in Virginia. Bowen spent 3 years there. He was briefly the Penn State was the tight ends coach and recruiter. He was also the co-offensive coordinator. So he's done. Bowen has plenty of stuff. I would love to get Darius Gray. I don't know how likely it is. I feel like one of the SEC schools is maybe in a bit of a better spot right now. But if the kind of claims are that the Buckeyes weren't playing by the rules, now they are going to play by the rules, or whatever it is, that there's a lot of weird drama with the NIL stuff because you had the installation of these are the rules, and then kind of it hasn't been working, we're just going around it. And then the executive order from the president, which I don't know if that's actually going to do anything. It's kind of in a weird spot of how much money are the Buckeyes willing to throw around at this time. Is it the same as other teams? I don't know. So what is the % chance Ohio State lands Darius Gray? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's go to 5-star running back Savion Hiter. Still not sure how to pronounce it. I'm gonna go with Hiter. I think that just sounds cooler for a running back. I'm gonna stand by that. He's gonna commit August 19th. OSU is a finalist, along with Georgia, Michigan, and Tennessee. However, the pretty consistently reported top 2, the Wolverines and the Tennessee Volunteers. And it certainly seems like both of those programs are a little bit more willing to throw some money around at the number 1 ranked back in the country. Now number 9 in the updated 24/7 Sports composite rankings. That is it's a big jump there for Hiter. Tennessee, they've had back-to-back backs go off to the NFL, although you could argue Ohio State just had 2. Michigan's going to be a very run-first heavy team, and I feel like tiebreaker might go to the NIL side there. So it would be a nice get for the Buckeyes, but I think they're 3rd at best for the time being. Now, you can get an Ohio State football jersey. Rock the number 1 jersey, and they're 20% off for a limited time with a deal going on at Fanatics. When you go to chatsports.com/OSU jersey, perfect for game day. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's chatsports.com/OSU jersey. Let's go to the defensive side of the football. I just now realized we're doing offense, defense. That actually works out super well. 4-star defensive lineman Duce Gerald will commit on Saturday as the Buckeyes trying to land yet another front 4 piece. The reported finalists here, I think this is a bit more of a battle. There's pros and cons for all these teams. LSU, well, Duce Gerald's got family in the state of Louisiana. Team up north, Michigan, have been reported on a pretty consistent basis as one of the top threats to land Geralds. Ohio State did get the last official visit. Sometimes, last one ends up being the best one for you. He has a legacy at Ole Miss, and Oregon has been reportedly put in the pole position by On3. So all 5 teams have something they can point to of, hey, that's why we feel decent about this guy. Geralds is the top 100 recruit, number 12 among all defensive linemen, number 11 in the state of Georgia. He's 6'1", 275. 3 technique. Try to give him, I think, some 5 technique stuff I think you'll have in the Matt Patricia-led defensive scheme. If you can get him, again, the reporting has been Oregon is the favorite, but that's still got a couple days left, and we've seen some whirlwind cycles of late, too. Now, we are getting closer to 11,000 subscribers here on the Ohio State Football Report. 76 away. We got to get there. I mean, camp's about to start. We're going to keep up the videos for you. We haven't gone anywhere. We're still pumping out content. Hit that sub button for free, youtube.com/GoBucks. Finally, one of the top 5 stars uncommitted that I think the Buckeyes are still viewed as the favorite for, Brilen Womack, who is going to commit on August 22nd. The 4 finalists here, he took official visits to all these programs too: Auburn, Florida, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. I still believe the Buckeyes are the favorite, but there is a team, and maybe more so than the other 2, that's lurking and trying to pull off something here. So first predictions. Will Ohio State end up landing Brilen Womack? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments of today's show. Look, I think it is still fair to consider the Buckeyes as the favorites here for Brilen Womack, but there has been some Ole Miss or some Auburn buzz as of late for the Mississippi product. Now, how much of that is Auburn trying to get desperate because they've had a bad summer in recruiting? I'm pretty sure Hugh Freeze has like 3 times as many birdies as he does commitments at this point, which is not something you maybe want to have from your coach. It's kind of a red flag down in Auburn, which I think is a huge issue, but they normally have money to spend from an NIL perspective. Buckeyes already lost 1 safety to UNC as a flip. I feel like they're going to do everything possible to keep Womack, given how long they've been viewed as the favorites. Maybe even some of that's just leverage from Womack's camp to get a little bit more from the Buckeyes in terms of the NIL. So he's not going to commit for almost a month, 3.5 weeks or so, whatever it is. I still think the Buckeyes end up landing the number 1 ranked safety and number 15th ranked player in the state, or in the nation. Excuse me, he's number 2 player in the state of Mississippi.